What's up, guys? Nostal-Gi-Oh here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video. We're going to be talking about Brave Tenyi today. I know I just made a video about this like a week ago, but I have been testing it a good bit more, and we do have some updates, and I just wanted to update you guys on the build, in the new combos and the small world lines that you can go, because small world is really, really effective in this deck. It really, unbricks any hand just about, because there's just so many great bridges to the deck. Moye is an incredible bridge, and the Vishuda is an incredible bridge. So the main differences from this to the last build is small world. That's a big difference. And then we also have the extended Sword Soul lineup. It's been okay. It's been a little bad sometimes, but it's still is really incredible when it works. Longyan, it's one that I almost want to cut. I was feeling like these cards kind of sucked before, but now I understand their purpose a little bit more. Moye is really good for playing under Lancia. When you go into your Tai line, it kind of sucks. And then also there's a pretty incredible Chaofeng line that lets you go, Tai, dump Moye, and then make Baxia, or make Baxia, then dump the Moye, bring back the Moye with the Baxia, and then then you make your Chi Shao, and then you have your Ashina in the graveyard. If the combo started with Ashina, you get to banish that, bring out the Adhara, and then you get to light lock your opponent with Chaofeng too. So there's a lot of things that can be explored with this deck. I think this deck has a lot more potential this format still with progression. I think people are really figuring out what things we can do with the deck, like Scythe. You can Scythe your opponent pretty easily with the deck. You can make Shooting Riser really easily. You could even play Snow if you wanted to. With Ching Ying. Could be good. So a lot of different things that we could do. At one point I was even siding the Scythe and playing the Snow, but the Snow was kind of underwhelming compared to the Scythe, so I figured, let's just play Scythe. Right? Scythe is crazy. But it's less good going second. But honestly, you don't even make the Shooting Riser line going second, so that's why I figured, oh, Scythe. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's actually get into the actual deck profile now. So starting off with the Brave cards, it's Brave Tenyi, so of course we're going to be playing the Brave cards. We're playing all 9. Nobody's cutting the Draco back. I think everybody's understand the power of Draco back, like how good it is going first and second. It's a free discard for the engine. It's just so good. So everybody's playing the whole 9 engine now is what I'm thinking. Side tangent. You see these cards now? You see these prices? Yeah, it sucks. I only have these. I don't have these, so it kind of sucks, but oh well. Yeah, these prices are crazy. This Brave engine is insane. I think everybody's understanding that it's just the best engine to have come out in ages. It's insane. And it's in every deck. So yeah. Anyway, triple Water Enchantress, triple Right, and then one of all 3. You have to play them. It's very good. It's standard. As far as the Tenyis go, we're playing the triple Ashna, triple Vishuda, and 1 Adhara. It's a little weird. The 1 Adhara, it comes up. And actually I've seen some people playing because this token is Earth and this is Earth. You can play Nat Beast in here, Naturia Beast. Pretty crazy. I'm not playing it right now just because I really like my extra deck. I really like where we've gotten to in the extra deck. I think it's very perfect. There are a couple changes that I could make. Herald of Arclight is a really cool card in the extra deck as well, because it plays around droplets pretty efficiently, because you can just negate it with Baron if they don't send a monster, and they can't send a monster off of the droplets because it would get banished, and droplets is sent to the graveyard. So that's a really interesting application. Almost never came up. I did have it in my extra deck. I think I made it one game of all the testing games that I've had, and it probably won. I don't know if my opponent actually had droplets. They probably didn't because they didn't even use it. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, they didn't use it because I had Baron, and Baron would just negate it. So it's obviously you wouldn't use it. But if they did have droplets, it won the game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, overall, I think the Tenyis at this package are really good. 3, 3, and 1. It's just good. When you start off your combo with Ashuna, you get to get to the Chaofeng line, which is pretty crazy. It does require you to not open one of these, but open a different worm to reveal off Moye. So it's a pretty obscure line to go into, but I think it's worth playing the 1 Adhara for that. But you could definitely cut it as well. I don't think the Adhara is guaranteed that you need, but it is really cool to bridge cards because it has 0 attack, and so do the hand traps. So you can go hand trap to Adhara and then Adhara to any Tenyi, which is a really interesting line to just get yourself a level 7 in hand. A lot of the time the level 7 is less needed, but playing around Ghost Ogre, which everybody's playing right now, it's not bad to summon your Tenyi, search the Draco back, and then go into that. I'll explain that later in the combo. But Yeah, that's like pretty solid. So I do like the one Adhara. It does help bridge things, and it also lets you get a hand trap at the end of your combo if you open like 2 Tenyis and one's left in your hand just sitting. You can banish it with Small World, get yourself a hand trap at the end of combo, which does happen pretty frequently. Lets you get an additional combo or an additional interruption, which is pretty solid. So we like that a lot. I've been enjoying the one in Adhara. I think it's good. Then we played the Red Rose engine, triple Red Rose Dragon, 1 Rocks Rose, and 1 Basil Rose. This card's really solid. It gets you, it's really powerful. It also notably has 1800 defense, which Moye bridges to with 1800 defense, and no other, similar things with that. So that's another big reason why the Moye is so good, is it helps bridge with Small World. So it's really, really solid. All these cards are really cool. Your bricks, of course, you have Basil Rose and the Rocks Rose. They are bricks. But whatever, at the end of the day, it's not that bad. If a couple cards in your hand are brick, but you can still make combo, it doesn't really matter if they were bricks. And then you can also Small World away the bricks at the end of the turn, which is kind of cool. But you can't do that with these because they're integral pieces to the combo. But yeah, very solid core. I don't think I would change anything for these ratios, the Brave, Tenyi, or the Rocks Rose engine, or the Red Rose engine. I don't think I'd want to change any of that. As far as the Sword Soul engines goes, as you guys know, last time it was just Taiye and Blackout. Now it's Taiye, Blackout, and Moye plus Longyan. Longyan doesn't come up very frequently. This is the one that I would cut if I cut any. But if I cut that, I'd kind of want to cut like Moye and just like minimize down on the package. But like I said, Small World makes Moye a lot better. Because you don't always go for the Moye line. That's really only like game 2 and 3 when you're really afraid of Lancia. But people are maining Lancia, so that does come up. Somewhat frequently, not very frequently, but it does come up. So having that access to the Moye is really good, and having it game 2 and 3 is really good, but I wouldn't really want to side one in, right? Because that'd be kind of weird. So yeah, I think the Sword Soul package is really good, how it is. Also the Moye, if you don't go, instead of going Taiye, you can go for the Moye if you already have a Worm in hand to get an additional draw, so it's not bad. And Longyan is really cool, getting at the end of the combo sometimes instead of Blackout, or if you draw one of these two, it's just really powerful. So, but Longyan has been dead in my hand a couple times. I will admit it has been dead. So, a lot of the time you just search Blackout, but sometimes Longyan's insane because you just get, another level 10 Xyz, which is insane because like Cheng Ying is insane, and so is Quixing Longyan. This guy's insane too. That's a new guy. These cards are actually just fantastic. Like, these cards are so strong, and there's a really interesting line that lets you summon the Sovereign, and then the Cheng Ying, you get a draw, and then you like this combo of these two are like you kind of need droplets to out it like efficiently. It's very, very strong. So yeah, that is the actual engine of the deck. Let's talk about these weird cards, some other cards. So as far as like going second cards go, the 2 Ghost Ogre, but this is also really just for E-Telly, 3 Ash, and 3 Droplet. So that's my going second packages, just 8 cards. It's not like too bad, but you do kind of need to open droplets a lot of times in this format to stop Scythe, because your opponent goes Scythe. If you have anything like a Chalice or something that or an Imperm that can negate the Scythe, your opponent usually has a Griffin as well, unless you opened like a hand trap that baited the Griffin, and then you don't have to. But yeah, it's safer to just like hope to open droplets. It kind of sucks like to open a non-engine card is kind of what you need for Scythe. But yeah, you if you get Scythe, you die in this deck. There's not really anything you can do. You can wall up a bit, but PK is gonna just kill you through that. Definitely. They just make the access code and like kill you through that. So yeah, droplets is pretty necessary in the format. Unfortunately, it is $100, so I'm sorry, but it feels pretty necessary. But Ash is not bad. It's low impact hand trap, but it does stop just about every deck. It hits something generically across the board. So it just makes sense. So that's a pretty solid going second package. And then the triple E-Telly for the Ghost Ogre. This is pretty cool going second as well. You can just drop this. It trades with a Griffin. It trades with an Appaloosa. So it's not bad. But yeah, it's really just an extender with E-Telly. There's a lot of weird hands that look like they're brick, but they aren't brick. They still full combo. Because how can summon out the Red Rose, and then Red Rose and Griffin makes Baron, which is then full combo. So it's not bad. It's uber consistent. It really is. There's a lot of bricks. You wouldn't think this is so consistent, but it really is. Next we have the triple Small World. Small World is one of my favorite cards. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple example lines. I do have a couple of them written down here just to kind of explain better what some of the lines are. So Moye, like I said, is an incredible bridge. So is Vishuda, and so is Hara. So those are your like big bridges that really get you to places. So let me explain a couple. I have 3 cool example lines that we can see. I've seen a lot of people talking about Small World in this deck. Nobody shows lines. Nobody shows the lines. So I'm going to explain 3 little example lines that can get you to Enchantress. They can get you to a hand trap, and they can get you to Red Rose because they're all reversible as well. So first off, we have a hand trap to Moye. They match up through only defense. So hand trap, level 3, fire, light, whatever. 0 attack, 18 defense. Moye has 18 defense, different type, different attribute, different attack and level. So that's very good. And then Moye bridges to, first off, it can get you to any of these, which is pretty cool. It only matches up through Worm. No attack or defense is met there. So boom, that works out pretty cool. And then also that can get you to Enchantress because it is a water. When water, Enchantress has 15, 12, stat line, not matching, and it's level 3, 4, and it's a Worm spellcaster, so it works through only attribute. So hand trap to Moye gets you any Tenyi, either one of these Tenyis, or it gets you to a water Enchantress, which is incredibly powerful. So that is a really cool line that makes any hand trap with Small World get you anything that isn't Red Rose, essentially. So if you open Red Rose, Small World, any hand trap, full combo through an Omni Negate, unless they, Ash your Small World, which would suck. But if they Ash Small World, it just trades 1 for 1 because it's not cost to banish from your hand. You just have to reveal. So it's very, very, or I don't even think you have to reveal, actually. Yeah, you don't even have to. You just activate Small World. And then if they Ash, whatever. The rest of your hand should probably still full combo most of the time. But with just those 3 cards, you can get there. Very, very cool. The next one, also that is reversible. So Enchantress can go to Moye and get you a hand trap if you opened like Right and Water Enchantress. So that's a really interesting line. Next we have the Red Rose. If you open like double Red Rose, or you just like need, or if you only open Red Rose can get you to Enchantress, which is a sometimes admittedly a bigger piece of the combo because Enchantress plus Itelli and a Tenyi is full combo. So go Small World, reveal the Red Rose, go to Vishuda. It only matches up being dark. It's a Worm. It has different stat lines entirely. And it's obviously a different level. So you can go Red Rose to Vishuda, and then Vishuda matches up to Water Enchantress through 1500 attack, and that's it. So these cards just bridge really, really, really incredibly, which is really cool. This can also get you Adhara if you want. If your hand's like really weird. I've had to summon Adhara to make the Hulk line before, but like that probably won't ever come up, to be honest. So yeah, that is cool. And that's also, once again, reversible. So you can send Enchantress to Vishuda, and Vishuda get to Red Rose Dragon. So that is really interesting. A lot of different ways for Small World to be good. Now I have one more combo, or one more line for that, and it's at Ashna or Vishuda, any Tenyi. Both of these match up with the Adhara because it's only Worm, different attributes, different stat lines, different levels. So either of these can get you to Adhara and then get you to a hand trap. So if you already have full combo with like 2 Tenyis in a Small World, then you get to go Small World, reveal a Tenyi, Ashna, or Vishuda, go to Adhara to a hand trap because it only matches up through its attack stat at 0. Everything else is different. So that way, if you already have full combo and you have a Tenyi in a Small World also in your hand, that can also be Ghost Ogre or Ash Blossom, whatever's better in the matchup. So a lot of different ways for things to match up. Moye is a great bridge. Vishuda is a great bridge. Adhara is a great bridge. Really, really cool. This deck has a lot of really great bridges and makes Small World just very, very, very strong. I spent, half an hour the other day just thinking of different ways this deck can bridge, and those were my 3 favorite ways to bridge. Obviously there's a lot of other ways to bridge this deck together as well because everything's just so interesting. Griffin matches up with just the level to these cards, so that can be cool. You can go like, if you have to. Griffin's kind of needed, but a lot of people do play double Griffin. So if you do play double Griffin, that's definitely something that you can do. So yeah, that is the main deck except for the 2 bricks, 001 and Scythe. So 001, of course, we're playing this card because we're playing the Hulk Auroradon combo, and then we're also playing the Scythe as well in the deck. It is the 41st card. You can cut it if you want. Like I said, I was siding it for a little while, but it ended up being just like so impactful when you go first that I was just like, okay, we'll play it. Because if you, like, a lot of your end boards are going to be like, Baron, Shooting Riser, Hulk, and then like a back row, like a Blackout or something, and a Chi-Shao. So you're gonna go like Hulk can still go into like formula, so your opponent, if they droplets, has to out like everything on your board realistically, because if they don't stop the Hulk or the Chi-Shao, then well, obviously the Chi-Shao, so they're probably gonna like, you know, when you go Baron effect to tag out to bring back the Scythe, then you can droplets the Baron and the Chi-Shao. But if they do that, then you can still make the Satellite Warrior during your turn. And if they don't stop the Hulk, then you know, you summon the formula, and then you can still go into the Satellite Warrior. And then another really cool thing is if they wait until you bring out the Scythe with a Baron to droplets, then it's like, oh no, my Scythe didn't work. But then you still have the Hulk for the formula, and then you can bring the formula and the Chi-Shao into the Baron again, and then you have an Omni Negate again. So it's really cool. There's a lot of really interesting ways. Your opponent really has to droplets like your entire board, because all of them are just so impactful. The only decks that can like efficiently do that is like PK. You know, a lot of decks in the meta don't really want to discard 3 or send 3 for that card. So it's really cool to do that. And of course, you know, that is still like susceptible to imperm, because you have to do that in the standby phase, because Baron, you know, only tags out on the standby phase. But still really interesting. We are really far into this video. Jeez, I didn't know. Anyway, that's the main deck. 41 cards. It's definitely like changeable. Longyon's another card that like I'm really like tempted to cut, but the times that it comes up, it's so powerful that I really just like haven't wanted to cut it yet. But it is dead sometimes, I will admit. Anyway, into the extra deck. Let's look at these extra decks. So first off, Baron. First off, we got some 10s. So Baron, the 2 Sword Soul guys, Chengying and the Longyan, Quicksang Longyan. So I hate these words sometimes. Longyan. But yeah, really cool cards. And then the Ready Rose as well. Ready Rose is insane. It just wins the PK matchup if you can like break their board or open droplets, stop the Scythe, and then out their board, which is really easy to do. Like it's pretty easy to out their board a lot of the time. If you can stop the Scythe, it's really only like double Fogblade, and sometimes like you know, banish for a pop to bring back Breaksword. So a lot of the time it's like 2 Fiendish in a pop, and the Brave Engine just trades so safely into that engine, and then you go full combo, you Baron pop, and it's just it's gross. It's really strong. So a lot of the time you can stop that entire play and then go Ready Rose at the end, and just they just lose the game. It's also really interesting that Ready Rose has a 3200 stat line, which outs you know, Baron and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And also, if your opponent sets up a Chengying that's not like super set up with a lot of banished cards, then this guy can potentially climb it as well. I've ran into that. That's happened like one time. They've had 1 banished card with Chengying, and then you just like don't banish as part of your combo. You make Ready Rose, crack him, because its protection effect is only when it's destroyed by a card effect to banish. So you can still beat over him, which is pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so those are all those cards that probably will never come up. Usually when they make Chengying, you know, they have multiple banish, so yeah, really cool. The level 10 synchro ability of this deck is just incredible, and the 10s are incredible. Then we have Chi-Shao, only 1, not more is needed. Baxia, Chaofeng for that combo, Yazi for combo. So all of these cards are pretty combo. You know, Chi-Shao, Baxia, Chaofeng, and Yazi. They're pretty much just like combo. The deck doesn't really do like super well after turn 1 if your board doesn't win, or if like the Brave follow-up can't like finish off your opponent. It can be kind of rough. And that's something I really want to figure out how to beat with this deck, like how to do that better. And of course the second Monk does help that, because you get to like, you know, make some really interesting lines after turn 1. And with like the level 3 tuners, a lot of the time you still have Basil Rose Shoot, which can make any of these cards on the next turn, which can answer boards really effectively. But only if, you know, they didn't out your board too badly. Your first turn is really the power turn. And then we played the 1 Shooting Riser Dragon. This card's really interesting. It sends Scythe. It can send Snow. That makes the sideboard potentially really interesting by being able to play like 1 Token Collector to send off the Riser. Being able to play like the 1 Snow, the 1 Scythe in the side, as I was doing at one point. Riser's just a really interesting card. And also I really want to play something cool to use off of the Riser, because when you make Riser send Scythe, it's a level 2. And a lot of the times when you make that line, you still have Taye on the board, or the Moye, which makes me want to play like a 6 that does something. But there's not really any 6 that I've found that like really does something is worth an extra deck slot. But that line is really interesting. Then we play the 2 Monk. 2 is Two's not entirely necessary. I think you could get by with one, but there's been a good couple of times where the second comes up on the clapback turns, on follow-up turns, where you're kind of just like, have a Tenyi, your hand's kind of awkward, they outed your board, and just going into the follow-up, the second monk, it's kind of needed sometimes. So I do like the second monk, but I think it's something you could probably get away with cutting, but I don't want to yet. I haven't felt safe cutting it yet. Then we have the Hulk Auroradon for combo. Formula Synchron off of the Hulk and the Satellite Warrior for the really interesting play with the Hulk. It's a pop couple. If it's synchro summoned, target cards your opponent controls up to the number of synchro monsters in your graveyard, which at this point is probably going to be 2, realistically. It's usually going to be 2, maybe sometimes 3, but it's usually, Formula Synchron and the Chi-Shao that it was made, that made the Satellite Warrior. It's going to be pop 2 a lot of the time. So, you have this plus a Blackout. A lot of the time, this is kind of win more. This is another card that you can cut, but every time that it's come up, it's been pretty cool. Another card that you could play in this deck potentially is Pot of Prosperity, but I don't really like it. I haven't tested it yet, so bear that in mind, but I don't think I like that in the idea. And then as far as the side deck goes, this is definitely, very, very generic side deck, but it just works really effectively, this format. Gamma, I think this card's insane. Going second, a lot of the time I'll be cutting like the Ashes and then 1 Ghost Ogre for these cards. Like, these cards are just like, it's a higher power card than that. And a lot of the time I cut out 1 Ghost Ogre anyway, because like you really only want it as a starter. This card's like, it's definitely a powerful hand trap, but it's, I don't know, most of the time it only trades with like 1 negate and stuff, which is like, I don't know, I'd rather have like droplets or like a more impactful hand trap like Gamma. So yeah, it's really just an extender with E-Telly. That's like the most that card ever really comes up for me. Then Triple Lancia, this card's insane. Triple Droll, this card's insane. Triple Cosmic, this card's really good against like back row stuff. And then 1 Red Reboot and 1 Duster. These cards are really good. This card is a Scythe out, but it's like the worst Scythe out because it just trades with the Griffin, which isn't good. I'd rather just droplets them. So yeah, that is the side deck. It's definitely changeable. I just think, this is pretty much the side deck, almost card for card, that I play against with almost every deck in the format. It just is really effective. Gamma trades out sometimes, but yeah, overall, it's a very good side deck. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile. Let's put a couple combos in. All right, we've got a combo. And as you guys can see here, this hand is ugly. This hand is really weird. It's very awkward. It has hand traps, so whatever going second, hand traps and Vishuda. Very solid, and droplet. Very crazy going second hand. But if we're going first, it looks very awkward. However, Small World makes that not very awkward anymore. We're going to go ahead and Small World, send our Ghost Ogre pack in, and put the Moye as the bridge, and then going to get ourselves a Water Enchantress. Now, these match up by only having 1800 defense. Everything else is different, as you can see. And then Moye and Water Enchantress have only the attribute that is the same. Different type, different attack, different defense, level, everything. So we're going to banish those cards face down, get ourselves a Water Enchantress. Water Enchantress is going to get us a Right. Right is going to get Fateful Adventure, summon a token. Special the Vishuda. Vishuda is then, we're going to search Draco back with the Fateful Adventure for a free discard. Search the Griffin, discard the Draco back, is going to go ahead and equip to the token. It doesn't matter, it's going away anyway. Normal summon the Ash Blossom, and now, as the kids say, full combo. We turn those two into a Hulk. Hulk is going to go ahead and special summon ourselves a Red Rose Dragon, and then we synchro summon that and the Rider, Griffin Rider, into Barret. Special summon out the Rocks Rose, search ourselves a Basil Rose, shoot, and then, synchro those into a Yazi. Fall off Draco back, get out of here, get out of here. Pop the Yazi with our own effect, and bring out Taie. Taie is going to banish the Yazi, synchro summon those two into a Chi-Shao. You guys know the deal by now. Search ourselves a Blackout. Could be a Long Yawn with, a different, hand, because we can, pop 2 with this anyway. How could turn into Formula and this turn into Satellite. So if we had a different, a discard, if this was a different card, then we could go for Long Yawn, which could be kind of cool. Gonna go ahead and set all these cards. This doesn't really matter. At this point, this doesn't even really count as good extender, so whatever. But it's a name. Banish the Hulk during my opponent's turn as Formula. Bring out the Chi-Shao into Satellite, which is a pop 2, which, we already accomplished with this, but still an interesting thing that we can do. So just kind of cool. And Formula is going to go ahead and draw us a card regardless. Even if we don't make the Satellite Warrior, we'll still draw a card. which is not bad. So that's our first combo. It's very standard. It's the standard combo you'll see with the deck, although it was on an awkward hand that we get to utilize because of the small world. So interesting hand. Now let's go into the second one. This one's also going to be a small world hand. However, this hand would combo without it. You can just like special this, normal summon this, go into Baron. But why do that when you can just get the Brave Engine? So we're going to go small world, show ourselves the Vishuda, get the Red Rose as the bridge, and then get ourselves a Water Enchantress. Now these match up by only being dark, different stat lines, different level, and Worm Dragon, and then the Red Rose and the Water Enchantress only match up by being the same level. Once again, different stat line, different type, and different attribute. So out of all 5 things, only level. So very, very easy bridge. Now, Vishuda and Red Rose banished down, face down. We're going to get Water Enchantress is going to get us right, and then Fateful Adventure, normal summon the Red Rose, get ourselves a Draco back, discard that when searching the Griffin, and equip it. Of course, the standard play. Now we're going to go ahead and sync those into Baron. Baron's going to go ahead and get us a Rock Rose. Now we're going to make Hulk out of those. This looks like a standard line so far. We're still doing standard stuff. Bring out the 001, go into the Auroradon, get 3 tokens, get our 001 back. The standard Hulk line here. However, here is where it's going to change. Well, not yet. It's going to make Yazi, pop the Yazi with our Baron, bring out the Tenyi. Tenyi is going to banish the Yazi to get ourselves a token. Here's where it changes. Now we have a level 4 tuner token and a level 3 non-tuner token. We're going to go ahead and sync those guys into a Shooting Riser. Now Shooting Riser is going to go ahead and send ourselves a Scythe, turning its level into level 2. And then we're going to set this, extra card, droplet, whatever. Keep drawing droplet, only going second. That's the only time I ever draw it, or going first. That's the only time I ever draw that card, but whatever. Now, during my opponent's standby phase, Baron will tag out, bring out the Scythe, and then, yeah, we're Scythe. Now, this sucks against a droplet, right? Like, we get droplets, and we're like, oh, that kind of sucks. So that's just an interesting line that we can do, but yeah, if you get droplets like this sucks, and we're probably not going to win that game. But it's still, we're still scything. Yay, we're still scything people. So it works pretty well. Now, another thing I'd like to add about this combo is this leaves a level 4 non-tuner, a level 2 tuner that can go on your opponent's turn, and a 5. So there's a lot of different things. And this is where I'm asking you guys if you've got any input here. Do you think there's a 7 or a 6, a synchro 6 or a 7 that's worth putting in the extra deck that Riser can turn into with either of these? Now, at first I was thinking, Desert Locust is a pretty cool card. You make your opponent pitch one to trade these two, and then Tenyi is gonna go ahead and start dump something. Is that only if you synchro a worm, or is that just if this card is synchro material? Cool. So we can still then dump follow up, send an Ashna out of here or something, and that could be really cool. So yeah, we could. My only thought so far was like a really bad 6 that I'm not even gonna like explain, and then also Black Rose. It's kind of an interesting little thing that we can do here, and I think like something else does something interesting with Black Rose. Something does, but yeah, these cards could make a Black Rose during my opponent's turn, which is interesting. I don't know if it's really worth it, because if we get droplets, they're probably gonna droplet the Shooting Riser Dragon too, just because of the application that could have. But still, if you guys think of any 6 or 7 that really is powerful during my opponent's turn, leave it in the comments. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. I think that's it for this. Yep, that's it for the combo. For both the combos, we Scythe. Small World is an insane card in this deck. If you guys aren't playing Small World, I suggest you try it. In this deck, it's really, really powerful. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Makes a big difference. And, TCG affiliate link in the description down below. Costs you no extra. You just click it, shop, check out. Costs you no extra and directly supports the channel. I do appreciate it. Anyway, have a good week and goodbye.